Now that it offers everything from front-wheel drive hatchbacks to giant electric SUVs, it's easy to forget that BMW made its name producing sporty six-cylinder coupes. Cars like this, the BMW M240i. Having expanded its menu so dramatically, does it still know how to make its signature dish? Let us know your thoughts about BMW in the comments below, and like the video and subscribe to the channel while you're there. The M240i xDrive is the flagship of the new 2 Series Coupe range, or at least it will be until the new M2 arrives. It lands at $89,900 before on-road costs, which is a substantial increase over the car it replaces. Two-door rivals include the Toyota Supra and Ford Mustang, but you could equally make a case for the Audi RS3 and Mercedes-AMG A45 hatches. But the price isn't the only substantial increase. Because the new 2 Series Coupe is based on the 3 Series platform, it's quite a bit bigger than its predecessor. Specifically, 83mm longer, 64mm wider, and with an extra 51mm in the wheelbase. That wider footprint should mean more stability and grip as well as more space inside, but it also means more weight. This small two-door coupe weighs 1,690 kilograms. There's no getting around the fact that the 2 Series Coupe looks won't be for everyone. Its proportions are a little awkward and it's imposing rather than beautiful, but I actually really like it, especially in this Thunder Night Purple, one of 6 optional metallic colours that will set you back $1,700, with plain old white being the only standard choice. Under the bonnet you'll find the same 3-litre turbocharged straight 6 as in the previous M240i, as well as a familiar 8-speed automatic gearbox. What has changed is that power is now up to 285 kilowatts, along with 500 Nm of torque. And this is sent to all 4 wheels for a 0 to 100 sprint of just 4.3 seconds. Despite being a new model, the interior will be very familiar to anyone with a modern BMW, as it's basically lifted straight out of the 3 Series. Compared to the space-age design of the new iX, for instance, it does look a bit old-fashioned, but really, there's nothing to complain about in here. The driving position is widely adjustable, and there's still plenty of physical buttons, so all the features are very easy to find. And there are a lot of features. All 2 Series Coupes come with the M Sport trim package, including sport seats and steering wheel, a head-up display, 360-degree camera, digital radio, smartphone mirroring, wireless charging and LED lights, to which the M240i adds a sunroof, leather upholstery, heated electric seats, adaptive headlights, keyless entry and a 14-speaker Harman Kardon stereo. Options for the M240i are few. Basically, a heated steering wheel and a drive recorder which turns your windscreen camera into a dash cam, but you can choose from 5 different leather colours and 3 different interior trims. I am going to get picky for a moment though. First, BMW M steering wheels. Why are they so fat? You may feel differently, but for me, they're just uncomfortable to hold. Likewise, BMW's old analog instruments were some of the best in the business, so why can't I have a digital version of that instead of these weird crescent moon things? Okay, rant over. The roomy centre console houses a USB-C outlet, there's another USB-A and 12-volt port around the cup holders, and a decent amount of space in the doors. BMW's iDrive system has now been with us for 20 years. Can you believe that? And it's come a long way since its much maligned early days. If you're a tech junkie, you'll love iDrive 7. There's so many features that this video could go for an hour explaining them all. There's settings for the seats and the lights and apps and wireless CarPlay and heaps more. I think iDrive 6 was a little more intuitive to use, but with a small lesson, iDrive 7 is still very good. On the safety front, there's a 360-degree camera with 3D view, parking sensors front and rear, and a parking assistant. This is in addition to 8 airbags, including second row curtain airbags, and all the active safety equipment you'd expect, adaptive cruise, auto braking, lane keep assist, road sign monitoring, etc, etc. Two-door coupes, especially those on the smaller side, aren't known for their practicality, but the M240i actually makes a pretty decent showing of it. The front seats slide forward electrically, so getting in and out isn't too painful, and while space is at a bit of a premium, it's okay for adults on shorter journeys and kids as long as they're not too tall. It's also well equipped with air vents, separate temperature controls, USB-C ports, ISOFIX points and a pair of cup holders in the fold-down centre armrest. Boot space is a reasonably impressive 390 litres, and that expands quite a lot if you drop the rear seats, which you can do remotely with these levers here. The boot also has its fair share of amenities with lighting, a 12-volt outlet, luggage hooks, a tool and first aid kit and 4 tie-down points, but no spare tyre of any description. All this is well and good, but we're only going to find the answer to our original question out on the road. I'll be honest, my first impressions of this thing weren't that flashed. The steering felt heavy and lifeless, the engine felt a bit dull in its responses, it kind of felt just like an M340i. Now that's a great car, but it's also a more sensible sedan, not a sports car. I thought, aha, they've made the M240i bigger, more grown up and less hardcore to appeal to a different sort of buyer. And that's fine, but it's a bit sad for those of us that loved the previous generation 2 Series Coupe. As it turns out, my first impressions were completely and utterly wrong. This thing is absolutely fantastic to drive. And I'll go through it bit by bit and explain why. First thing to do is press the Sport button until you reach Sport Individual, which allows you to mix and match settings for the drive, steering and suspension. Sport Plus for the engine and transmission is a no-brainer. Sport works well for the suspension, but I'm leaving the steering in Comfort as it's heavy enough as it is. In fact, I'll get this out of the way now. The steering is the worst part about this car. If good steering is like perfect 20/20 vision, this is like looking through a pair of fogged up glasses. The brakes are also a bit short on feel, but crucially, neither of these shortcomings spoil what is an otherwise excellent experience. The engine is brilliant with power everywhere, and it sounds more interesting in Sport Plus too, with plenty of burbles on the overrun. No complaints with the transmission, shifts being plenty quick up and down the box, but it's the handling that really makes this car so awesome to drive. Yes, it's fast and it's got plenty of grip, but it's so fluid and controlled. And don't think being all-wheel drive has made it in any way dull, as most of the power goes rearwards until you really need it. I love driving this thing. This dynamic talent doesn't come at the expense of comfort either. The M240i can get a bit unsettled on chopped up urban roads, but in general it rides very well, visibility front and rear is good, and it's even covered by the same cap price servicing model as the regular 2 Series. This is $1,700 for 5 years or 80,000 kilometres of cover, and the car will tell you when it needs a service. Unlike Audi and Mercedes, however, BMW is sticking with a 3-year warranty offering. I've spent some time now thinking about whether the new M240i is better than a Supra or an A45 or an RS3. And the answer is, I don't know. It's too close to call without driving them all back to back, especially as they're all slightly different cars. What I do know is that while BMW has drastically diversified its offering, it still hasn't forgotten how to build a 6-cylinder coupe that's seriously entertaining to drive. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the Car Sales channel, and let us know in the comments which cars you'd like to see us review.